That's right. I'm practicing thinking out loud again. Why not? I happen to be driving on the way home. I'm going to a doctor's appointment. Wife's got a doctor's appointment. Kind of like a vacation that sucks. Anyways, really bugging me because I just now watched the speech Reagan made in the 80s, asking if there can really be peace if there's one soldier overseas losing his life. Is that really peace? And if you actually do research, if you look into things, open a book, look on the internet, you realize that every single war we've ever been in, since we've been a country, has been a business venture to make rich people richer. Every one. Every single one has been orchestrated and planned by the ultra-rich to either usurp some natural resources from another country that didn't want to give them to us at rock-bottom prices, or we wanted to go ahead and take over a little bit of land so that we could get the oil out. Same thing. Look at Cuba. Castro told the U.S., I'm not going to sell you my sugar anymore for your Coca-Cola. This was way back in like the 50s, or I think it was the 50s. You have to look it up. He said, I want you guys to pay us fair wages, fair prices for our sugar. You're taking it by the metric ton daily, and you're giving us pennies. I want the people of Cuba to benefit from how rich you're getting off of our sugar. So, of course, it didn't exactly happen as we invaded, but JFK said, we're not going to go to Cuba. We're not getting involved. So the CIA went up to JFK and said, well, what if we have some anti-Castro Cubans who invaded? It's Cubans, so they'll be invading Cuba. They're Cubans already. We're not fighting the fight. If they can get the rest of the country to go along with them, we can get Castro out of power, and then we'll be able to keep getting sugar, and our economy will remain strong. So JFK thought to himself, well, we're not fighting for the Cubans. It'll be the Cubans fighting for themselves. I suppose I'll go along with it. Okay, that'll work. So, that operation took place. I forget the name of the operation, but coincidentally, it shares Zapata. It was Operation Zapata, because coincidentally, it has the same name as George Bush Sr.'s oil company in Texas. Zapata Oil. Okay, so Operation Zapata goes off. 50 years, I don't even remember how many Cubans there were. Anyways, they set sail in a ship that was named Barbara. Bush again. They set sail in the USS Barbara, whatever. I don't even think it was the USS. It was a boat named Barbara. So they go over and they fail miserably. They just get slaughtered, and they call the U.S. for help, and they say, we need air support, we need something. So, you know, JFK, of course, said, no, we're not doing that, we're not getting involved. But by then, the U.S. people knew, hey, we did do something in Cuba after you said we weren't going to. So JFK came out and he publicly apologized to the public. He came out and said, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, everything transpired after that. Look at Iraq. That was another war we've been in. They had weapons of mass destruction. Ooh, that's why we went in. Funny though, 2 or 3 weeks before we invaded and had, you know, Operation Desert Storm and all that stuff, 2 or 3 weeks before we joined and invaded, blew the ever-loving shit out of the country, Saddam Hussein had announced, I'm going to go ahead and sell my oil in whatever you want to buy it in. If you want to buy it in rupees, I'll sell it to you in rupees. You want to use the yuan from China? Yeah, I'll sell it to you in the yuan. I'm not going to go with the petrodollar anymore. I'll just take whatever. Huh. Okay, that makes sense. He didn't want the U.S. and the investors to make however much it is, 50% on every gallon that his country sells, which makes it so that he only gets a fraction of what that oil's actually worth in his country. His people don't benefit from selling their products. Okay, let's go into any war you want to look at. If you look into it, you realize it was just rich people getting richer and sending the average young man to die for it. They were pawns. It's just like investment bankers today. Investment bankers are the whole reason we still go to war. We still kill each other. We still hate other countries. All because of interest. Interest. Money from nothing. Abraham Lincoln released the greenback. It was supposed to be a gold-backed dollar. We're getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Abraham Lincoln. This is what we're going to do. What happened to him? Oh, yeah. Oh, JFK. He said, I'm going to release a silver-backed dollar. And he did. He released the silver note. You remember that happening. But what happened to it? Oh, that's right. Man. Trump is starting to target the Federal Reserve right now. If we get rid of investment bankers who charge interest to let us use their money, then we shy away from the whole debt-based economy. So now let's just take for an example a company that last year made $30.4 billion profit. The very word profit means that's how much money you made after you paid everybody's salaries, you paid all expenses, you paid all utilities, you bought all your material. That's how much, for me and you, that would be how much money you can put in your savings account. It's money that's extra money. Okay, now $30.4 billion. That same company has 211,357 associates. I'll round it up to 212,000 associates. I'm going ahead and throw in almost 800 associates. I'm just going ahead and adding them. Now, if I divide $30.4 billion by 212,000, that means that if that company had no investors and was completely disconnected from Wall Street, it was just a company that's making a good product and wants to last a long time. It's just a company. Okay. Every person that works at that company would have brought home an additional $143,000 in the profit sharing. If you divide 30.4 billion by 212,000, you get $143,000 and some odd change. Yeah, that's right. All that extra money isn't going into making the company better. It isn't going into making people's lives better. It's not going into training. It's not going into anything that benefits the people that actually do the work. It's going straight into investors' pockets. That's it. Hell, look at this business. Any business. You want to get, let's just say, a new piece of machinery. I need this piece of machinery so that we can, run faster. We can have higher quality parts. Okay. If you were buying it for your company that you were sharing the profit in, you would say, I want the best machine I can get. I want it to be the most reliable. I want it to be the easiest to use. And I want it to be pretty much idiot-proof. I want to make sure that I'm raking in the money and I don't have stress. But with investors, they say, well, how much is this piece of machinery going to cost? $65 million, you say. I'll give you 39. I'll give you 39. You'll have to justify the extra over that. So, let's see what you can do with that. So now, everybody that works at that company is basically screwed because they're getting a piece of equipment that's not good enough, that's under-designed, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that would make their jobs easier. Their jobs kind of get harder because they just have to do more work and get more product without anything actually being better. The only thing that gets better is the production numbers. That's it. It's the same way in every aspect of American economy. If you're in education, what does education say they don't have enough of? Money. Look at the prison systems. You got cells that are crap. You've got all kinds of problems. They don't have enough people. The people that are there aren't trained enough. And they have to work too many hours. What are they missing? Money. Look at the automotive industry. Cars nowadays are disposable. After 5 or 6 years, you have to buy a new one because all the clips in them are the bare minimum of what they need to be to hold the car together. The sheet metal is the thinnest, crappiest stuff they can get to work. Because if we go to a smaller clip, you're saving 3 cents a unit. Over the length of 5 years, that'll save this company $14.7 million. No, that'll make everybody's job for that 5 years harder, and it'll make your product crap. We need to get back to doing the right thing, not the profitable thing. Profit should be an illegal word. It used to be. If you go back to Jesus' time, yeah, I'm quoting stories from the Bible, but it's not like I can go back to 452 AD CNN. Okay, now, if I go back to Jesus' time, there's a story in the Bible about how he flipped over the money changer tables at the temple. In the early days of Christianity, everybody had already been talked into paying a tithe, 10%, support the church, keep the church up and going. You weren't allowed to use a coin that had the emperor's face on it, because that means God isn't your God. That money with the emperor's face, that's your real God. Okay, so the money changers, they couldn't be Christian. We have to get somebody else to go ahead and change the money out. Who can we get? Oh, I know. I'll just use my Jewish buddy. They don't give a crap. Yeah, hey, Jewish buddy, got a job for you. So now I've got Jewish people changing the money. So if I give you 10 rubles, you give me in return 15 rupees, whatever. I don't know what it was. It was a lira. Who knows? Who cares? So those Jewish money changers, they were smart people. They're smart. People are smart. They realized, if I give that Christian 15 cents worth of this currency, and he's giving me 75 cents of that currency, I can make a lot of cheese. Yeah, that's why Jesus flipped over the tables. You were making money from nothing. It was horrible. It's the same way today. Do we need a across-the-board currency? No, not really. We need an across-the-board value. We do need that. If 1 hour of my labor produces $120 in value, then my company should pay me $120 for the work that I did, because that pays everybody's salary, that keeps the lights on, that buys all materials we need to use, and our product continues to be good. I get paid whatever I put out. Get rid of investors. Yeah, there's more people and there's not enough gold. So don't use gold. Just use the value of the effort put forth. If you put forth an hour of anything, and except for, the arts, that's only worth what people want to pay you for it. But if I'm putting forth any kind of effort that has a monetary value behind it, I should get compensated for that monetary value. Otherwise, my life has been monetized. My very life has been monetized. Like right now. Let's say I make $30 an hour. That's a good pay. That's darn good money. But if that hour of my work is making the company $120, then I'm only getting like 26%. I'm only getting like 120 or 25% of the total value. That means that you now think my worth is 25% of what it is. Which means I have to work 4 times harder if I was going to get the money for the work that I'm giving you. It's simple. It's a simple fix, but we've got a lot of people who've fallen into the money-making game who just make money on money. You've got rich people who don't do anything except say, I like your product, I'll invest, but I expect you to pay me back 5% per quarter, and yeah, you're probably not going to have as good of health insurance. I'm going to get cheaper stuff. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, look, you got your stuff. It's almost like a credit card. Yay, we got the stuff now, but now we have to pay back more than we borrowed. That's where the problems in the world lie. That's all of our problems today. Look up the House of Rothschild. Look up when they started. Look up what they currently own and control. That's just one family out of a bunch of them that are ultra rich and you never hear about. Because they're the top investors. They're the very top. So if they're getting 5% off of everybody below them, the next level down's getting 5% out of everybody below them. The next level down's getting 5% of everybody below them. You get down to the bottom where the people who are actually doing the work and creating the product, we're getting shafted. We're only getting 25% of the value of our labor. That's what we're getting. We need to get rid of all the ultra elite, the super rich. They were smart. They figured out how to get something from nothing. But that shouldn't be legal because that degrades everybody's life. Everybody. I could go into so many offshoots that you'd get bored and you'd switch the channel, you'd go to something else. I'm not going to because I always do, so I'm going to quit now. But really look into it. Think about how much better the world would be if we got rid of profit. If profit no longer existed, as far as investors go, just get rid of them. How much better would the world be? If you want to keep investors, then switch around the matrix a little. Make it so that if they invest money in a company, they have a payback period that you need to pay back the total investment in. Let's say 5 years. So that means if you borrow $1 million, every year you have to pay back $200,000. Now, if they loaned you $1 million and you're paying them back, you could classify them as as an associate because they're helping out the company. Let that investor go ahead and share in your profit margin. So instead of having 212 associates, you now have 212,001. You've got one more associate, so everybody's profit margin gets divvied up a tiny bit. Now that investor gets the profit margin for that year. Yeah, he gave away $1 million, but he's making $140,000 a year on it. Plus, he's getting his money back. He's not making $90 per hour on top of everything else. It'd be a much fairer system. It would be like a maximum wage. That's what we need, a maximum wage. Greed is taking over everything. That's all I really got to say today. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.